The 2024 Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards. 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 the 2024 Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards.
I'm Jackie Catalina Schaefer, and I am your MC for the night. Yeah, I wear many hats in community, and this is not one I wear often, actually, my first time. So we're gonna just go for it. So welcome. Welcome to the 54th Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards ceremony. Really excited to have you here. The Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards is an annual partnership between the Alaska Humanities Forum, the Alaska Council on the Arts, the Alaska Arts and Culture Foundation, and the Office of the Governor to recognize and honor noteworthy contributors to the arts and humanities in our communities across the state. So I am Catalina. I was born and raised in the community of Kikiktagruk, Katzke, and as I learn more of my language, it's really hard for me to read English now. So bear with me if I mispronounce anything. The hardest thing when I reviewed the script was the English words, so I thought that was really funny. I am close to my 60th birthday, so I thought, well, is that just the age thing? Or is this really just my revitalizing my brain to really think in Inupiaq? So I am Inupiaq from the community of Katzke, born and raised. I am the daughter of the late General John Schaefer and Mary Schaefer, and the granddaughter of the late John and Annie Schaefer, and Floyd and Mayuk Wheeler. I am really honored to be here. I was just tickled that they asked me to participate, and I know it was a lot to get here tonight. It was not an easy feat to drive through Anchorage, Alaska today. So congratulations to every single one of you. I'd like to express some appreciation for all of the people who participated in bringing this ceremony together. First of all, I'd like to honor our planning committee. So our planning committee consists of Shoshi Baylor, Polly Carr, Amanda Dale, Cameron Perez Verdia, Andrea Noble, Ben Brown, and Charlie Sears. Let's give them a round of applause. So thank you. Yeah, this would not happen without them. And thank you to the individual staff and volunteers that came along to help make this venue beautiful. The slides tonight, the beautiful slides you'll see, were created by Alaska Humanities Forum staff, Catherine Paradis. And so we also want to honor and thank ConocoPhillips for this generous space. Finally, and certainly not least, the Anchorage Museum, because this is a beautiful venue to be in, for opening their beautiful space and this wonderful celebration. Everything about this place has special, it makes my heart melt. I do my annual fashion show here, and it's always a big hit. But to actually celebrate art and artists across the state really makes me happy, because that, in all of our Indigenous souls, that is something that we really honor, because most of the artists and most of the people who do this, it's nurtured deep within them from being a small child, growing into it. It's not necessarily something someone says, well, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be an artist. Some people say that, but sometimes it's really difficult to become that. So this is really special. The museum director and CEO, Julie Decker, has been a creative force in our community, and the museum is a leading center for scholarships, engagement, and investigation of Alaska and the North. Julie is also a past GAHA awardee. She is going to share some words with us, so come on up, Julie. Love the shirt. Look at that. Perfect.
I hadn't heard the GAHA thing before, so. Welcome. It's an honor to follow Jackie, who I admire very, very much. So thanks for sharing a stage, Jackie. Welcome to the Anchorage Museum. We are on Dena'ina land, and our past, present, and future rests in deep respect for Indigenous stewardship and knowledge. Thanks to all Indigenous people of Alaska and beyond. It's a really full program tonight, so I decided to keep my remarks as short as possible. So I just want to say to the artists, to the writers, to the filmmakers, to the musicians, to every creative, every culture bearer, every humanitarian, keep doing what you do. It takes courage. You change the world. You give it meaning, and we need you now, in this moment, more than ever before. This is an incredible moment in human history, and there's 1 week to go. To the awardees tonight, congratulations. Thank you. You have made a lasting difference. You have made us better. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Yeah, you know, it's fun when you're Alaskan your whole life because you know somebody everywhere you go. Next we have, we're going to introduce and give our Lieutenant Governor, Nancy Dahlstrom, some time to share her words. Nancy is the 15th Lieutenant Governor from the state of Alaska. Dahlstrom was born in Baltimore, Maryland. Her family moved to Utah, where she was raised and graduated from high school. After high school, she moved to Alaska, and guess what? She's another one that stayed. I love stories like that because it is a beautiful place. So this is her chosen home. She attended Wayland Baptist University, where she earned her degree in Human Services and earned her master's from the University of Laverne. She previously served as a Republican member of the Alaska House of Representatives, representing both Districts 18 and 13. Dahlstrom served in the Alaska House of Representatives from 2003 to 2010. She was later appointed to various positions in the executive branch from 2010 to 2014. She served as Commissioner for Alaska Department of Corrections from 2010 to 2020. Let's please welcome Nancy Dahlstrom, Lieutenant Governor.
Good evening. It's really a pleasure to be here with you. And I'm glad that Jackie told you this is my chosen home. I'm one of those people that came here for a 2-week vacation with a girlfriend, and then we extended for the summer. And then we said, you know what? This is where we're going to live. And over 40 years later, I'm still here. So I love Alaska. Before I start, I want to recognize, we have also with us Representative Andrew Gray. Andrew, would you stand, please? Andrew serves in the Alaska legislature, and I will tell you from experience that he's very supportive of the arts and that he loves Alaskans, even if they're not from his district. So if you haven't had a chance to meet him, please take that opportunity. But on behalf of the governor, I am happy to be here tonight. You know, I love it when he can't go somewhere because I get the opportunity to go, and I'm always happy to be able to be here. This is my second year being able to be with you, and tonight again, as last time, we're going to recognize and celebrate artists, writers, and thinkers, people among us, as well as educators, advocates, and leaders who uplift and preserve our diverse Alaskan cultural heritage. Arts and humanities enrich our lives in so many ways, as we all know. They act as a mirror to society, and they reflect our deepest emotions, our hopes, our fears, and our thoughts. By engaging with art, we explore different perspectives, we foster empathy and understanding, which helps create stronger and more connected communities. Art, as you all know, transforms spaces, and it encourages local pride, and it attracts visitors to our communities. Humanities, like poetry and history and philosophy, preserve our beautiful cultural heritages, and they also promote very critical thinking, which is important. Together, they challenge us to think, feel, and engage deeply with the world and the people around us. So as we're celebrating the amazing individuals tonight, let's also all reflect on the arts and humanities and how they have enriched our collective lives in our communities. It's such an honor to be here with you tonight, and I want to thank the many artists and those who are being recognized tonight and those who are not being recognized for your patience and willingness to share your skills and your abilities with those who are just learning or who are just coming up in their talented area. Everybody doesn't start out doing such a great job, but when they see people like this room is full of, then their goals can grow, and they desire to be able to express themselves in the arts in a much more creative way. And so I thank you all for your patience and your willingness to do that. Bless you all for being here and for sharing your talents, and I look forward to seeing who our recipients are tonight. Thank you.
Gotta come down to my height. Thank you, Nancy. I have tall children, so I'm used to that. They come in handy around the house. I want to also welcome Benjamin Brown is the board chair for the Alaska State Council on the Arts, and Renee Wardlaw, who is the board vice chair for the Alaska Humanities Forum. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Jackie, very much for being here as MC. There was a rumor I was going to do that and this, and no one wanted that, so I'm very grateful to have Jackie here. Thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor Dahlstrom, for being here on behalf of the Dunleavy-Dahlstrom administration. I appreciate your thoughtful words about how we all come from one place and we're all going to another place, and the arts make that happen. I mean, that's kind of why we're here. So the Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards, which have been going on for a very long time, almost as long as I've been alive, really are an important part of what we do as Alaskans to honor people who use their creativity and passion to enrich our lives, to teach and inspire others, to help people connect. And the critical thinking element of it is so important. You know, that was a buzz phrase when I was a kid at Palmer High School, but I think as I've evolved through life, critical thinking actually matters. And you can either think critically or not, and the outcomes are radically different. So I could not believe in that more. My honor and privilege to be here. I've been doing this for a while, and I'm so glad to be here at the Anchorage Museum. I look forward to working with you, Julie, and your fabulous team. This is a great venue. You know, Juneau's great too. I was born in Anchorage, but I think there's some wisdom to doing it here in Anchorage, and I hope this is something we can continue to make work. So I want to thank all of you for being here for this newest iteration of this event, which is an important part of what we do, and I want to touch a little bit on that. ASCA, the Alaska State Council on the Arts, is Alaska's state arts agency. Every state and jurisdiction has one. Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas, American Samoa and Guam, and all the other 50 states in D.C., which you know. We all do it a little bit differently. We're all composed a little bit differently in terms of whether we're appointed by the governor or we're legislators, and whether there's 56 different ways we do it. So we are a laboratory of innovation. What we're doing currently in Alaska are some tried and true programs. Our biennial and annual operating support to arts organizations is probably best known. It supports major arts organizations and smaller ones to allow them to have the resources to do what they do. We have quarterly grants, community arts development, career opportunity grants for individual artists, the Master and Apprentice grant, that help individuals who are earlier on in their career advance, or organizations that are earlier advance, to be able to deliver artistic services, cultural services to Alaskans. You may have heard of our Contemporary Art Bank. We've been working with Lieutenant Governor to make sure that she has art on her office walls, and Representative Gray, your office walls. But any public office can have art on its walls because we have an art bank that has contemporary art by Alaskan artists to provide that. You may have seen our most recent Alaska artistic license plates. They're fabulous. We've sold over 11,000 of those. I should say our friends at DMV have issued 11,000 of those since those went online. That's the second iteration of those. We now have a contest with ranked choice voting, and that's a fabulous program. It's unique in the country. Very proud of that. Music on hold. If you have to call a state office, you will hear some wonderful Alaskan music, and then you'll hear me telling you what that song was. We're going to try to update that and maybe replace my voice. Poetry out loud. 1 million kids in America have been doing that since 2004 when NEA Chair Dana Gioia started it. It's an amazing program. And then I want to mention, just not last and certainly not least, the Alaska Cultural Trust is a current endeavor that we're doing with our friends from the Alaska Humanities Forum, the Alaska Native Heritage Center, and a host of other arts organizations. We want to create a permanent, we have created, now we want to endow meaningfully, a permanent source of support for arts organizations and individual artists that will augment the work that the State Council on the Arts and the Humanities Forum are doing to make sure that artistic and cultural opportunities are available to Alaskans now and forever. So with that, we need to advocate for the arts. I know all of you in this room are the proverbial choir, and so just listen tonight and enjoy learning, and we will go from strength to strength. And with that, I don't think I went over my 7-minute time budget, but if I did, I apologize. I want to introduce my friend and colleague and former fellow associate attorney when we were kids, but I'm older than she is. Renee Wardlaw, let's hear about the Humanities Forum, my dear friend.
And now I know why they put me after Ben, to catch up on time. So good evening. My name is Renee Wardlaw, and I'm the vice chair of the board of directors for the Alaska Humanities Forum. Let's give a round of applause for the Alaska Humanities Forum. And many of you know, but I'll repeat it for some of you who are new to the forum. The forum is a publicly funded, nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that connects Alaskans through stories, ideas, and experiences to inspire understanding and strengthen communities. We offer programming for youth, educators, writers, storytellers, pretty much anyone who is interested throughout the state of Alaska. So can I please have the forum staff and board members present just stand up, wave. I see some of my fellow board members here, some of our staff. Don't be shy. They're never this shy. So let's give them a round of applause. And I encourage you that if you're interested in the organization or interested in serving on the board, please take an opportunity to learn so much about us. I'm in my second term and just thrilled that I've had the opportunity to be at events like this. The awards for distinguished service to the humanities are presented by the Alaska Humanities Forum to recognize those individuals and organizations whose efforts have contributed to telling the stories of our past, present, and future, and whose work has helped build a more culturally diverse, economically vibrant, and equitable Alaska where people are engaged, informed, and connected. These awards honor emerging and established individuals and organizations that have worked to build and strengthen our communities, and that deserves a round of applause too. So thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Renee and Ben. In addition to Arts and Humanities Awards, we are honored to celebrate the Alaska State Writer Laureates. We are joined by our most recent laureate. That's another English word. For some reason, I can't get it out today. Laureate. It's like I was practicing your name. I could say that perfect, your name perfect. I cannot pronounce some English words today. It's just one of those things. But we do have some distinguished participants here, awardees. We have our 2024. We're going to enjoy some uplifting music as well as some incredible other items this evening that will be a joy, that will kind of break it up. And because you came all the way out today, we certainly don't want you to be bored. We're going to begin our arts recognitions. First is the Individual Artist Award, which honors an individual who demonstrates artistic leadership and receives recognition based on merit and contribution to Alaska and/or their community. Our 2024 Individual Artist Award recipient is Mary Katzke. Woo! Yeah. Mary Katzke has been producing media on social issue topics in Alaska since 1980. After graduating from NYU Graduate Film School, she began combining creative narrative and classic documentary styles through a nonprofit media organization, Affinity Films Incorporated. Her films have focused on vulnerable populations of women, children, and Indigenous people of Alaska and have been on PBS, at Sundance, MoMA, and used in intimate settings for smaller local gatherings and public awareness, attitude and justice. Mary has over 40 titles, including About Face, Sea of Oil, Backing Out of Time, Day in Our Bay, and Now We Rise. Love that one. World School, 10 films for the Arc of Anchorage, and 6 films about breast cancer awareness. Her current work in progress include Justice Delayed, about systemic obstacles to lowering violence against women in Alaska, and Beyond Pink Ribbons, about the importance of genetic testing and metastatic breast cancer, which is near and dear to my heart because Friday I just hosted a fundraiser for one of my daughters who is fighting breast cancer. So with that, Mary, congratulations.
Hello, everyone. To be noticed, seen, identified, respected, all are lifeblood for people everywhere, and the arts is no exception. For me, it is second only to acknowledgement from the people whose stories we tell. We bring light to the stories of our most vulnerable, giving voice to people and issues that might not be finding the reach necessary for raising awareness about communities and issues often hidden from view. We strive to combine art and cause to change hearts before minds. Filmmaking is a collaborative art. Couldn't be here without my team. I've learned that our work doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be polished. What it needs is to be honest. It needs to be nurtured slowly. And in a world that so often tries to flatten our experiences into something quick or digestible or sensationalized, this is a revolutionary way to approach it. It's not the critic who counts or the one who points out where the strong woman stumbles or points out who could have done it better. The credit belongs to the people who are down in the trenches doing the work and knows the triumph of high achievement and at worst, the failure, daring greatly to fail. Our only guarantee is that we'll get our asses kicked. We will fail sometimes. We will have to decide if courage is a value that we hold. I've gotten my ass kicked several times. But what I can say is, to the vulnerable communities that I've worked with, that what I do comes from the heart and with a sincere desire to create positive change. And I hope my work speaks to those who feel they haven't had a voice or who feel their voices will benefit from amplification and says, you are heard, you are seen. Today, I'm one of the vulnerable voices wishing to be heard and seen. I don't want to numb it. I want to reveal injustice and misinformation and heal through storytelling that is empowering and informative. I want to continue to find purpose in each day until I'm no longer able. I owe deep gratitude to Alaska for making it possible to be a filmmaker and a mother for all these decades. Thank you, Alaska, for never running out of stories that need to be shared. Thank you for giving me the means to amass a legacy for my community and my son. Thank you to the Alaska Council for the Arts and recognition of all our efforts. Your timing could not be more meaningful. Thank you.
Yes, it is. You're going to hear about it. We really hope, and Jackie.
Thank you, Mary. All right, I didn't cry. That was my biggest thing, was I'm going to hear all these artists and their amazing words, and I'm just a sap. But I didn't. So I want to take a moment to recognize the awards we're presenting tonight. Each year we ask an Alaskan artist to commission and create a set of unique awards for the event. This year we are lucky to have pieces by Tlingit artist Lily Hope. Lily's work in wool textile and paper collage weave together raven's tail and chilkat design. Gwenashish, Lily, for these inspiring and beautiful works of art. I don't know how to say that the way they do with all the passion. Gwenashish, Gwenashish, Gwenashish. But I feel it. So now I would like to introduce the Alaska Native Arts Award. This award is for an individual or organization that has successfully advanced Alaska Native language or culture through their work. I am delighted to announce our 2024 Alaska Native Arts recipient. I'm going to say it right. ʼUnei Lance Twitchell. ʼUnei Lance Twitchell is a dedicated and passionate advocate for the preservation and revitalization of Alaska Native languages, particularly the Tlingit language. He is Tlingit, Haida, Yupik, and Sami. As a professor of Alaska Native languages at the University of Alaska Southeast, and as vice chair of the Alaska Native Language Preservation and Advisory Council, ʼUnei, I want to say it over and over, emphasizes the importance of including traditional ways, values, and worldviews in language learning, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation of Indigenous cultures. His work, recording, transcribing, and presenting the words of tribal elders ensures their wisdom is preserved for future generations. But that's not all he does. He is also an author of poems, stories, and screenplays. He is a filmmaker, a musician, and a Northwest Coast artist. He has also been a writer and cultural consultant for the CBS show Molly of Denali. He lives in Juneau with his wife and bilingual children. Congratulations. So we'll welcome up the Alaska Native Arts Award. Thank you.
Gonna away. Dena ina ka denai na ku isil ko has ane koke hat ti achtu saku ata. Yeah, awa konach ach at has to dot away you took what tank yagi ya ach ku at tuku. Has to kakaya you took what tank ya had the chunky sani. Wasaha kwati away ye awa a dot you took what tank chatuk yagi away. Aka away. Hastu kage yes away ye chitune wuchin. Take the hin away hoach, tach konach, tech it wuch ulchishik wasa ishan dain has kawa shoot utletlech katua oshko hastu yukatungi, ha yukatungi. Achaway yich akwawus, dasa ye yisane, ha yukatungi kach. Ya had the chunk isani, isa koya, hasage. A gursaku, ye awa adat you tuchwatunk, gunil cheesh, chat ye sai, ya gunil cheesh, achjit chidatani, ben. Gunil cheesh, I'm so thankful to the Dena'ina and the Dena'ina peoples. I think a lot about my teachers in moments like this. I think a lot of future generations. And I think a lot about the ways that people suffered when nobody wanted our languages to survive. So with that, a lot of my work is dedicated to ensuring that things will continue. And what that means is we call for a greater situation than what we see right now, which is a very troubling situation. I think it's very easy for a lot of Alaska to ignore what's happening with our indigenous languages. So my challenge to every one of you is to say 7 generations from now, will those little grandchildren of ours know your name based on what you did to avoid an unnecessary genocide of indigenous peoples? And I think they will know your name. I think they will say, this was a moment when things shifted in a positive direction for us. They did this for us. Because Alaska Native languages don't just benefit Alaska Native peoples. They allow us all to survive. Hausane khayuk atangi, yewe kunil cheesh away akshat ka akhyatki, kunil cheesh to cut you han, you go ayakwan, you got to lock, yewe.
Okay, that one made me tear up. I think about that too. Congratulations. So excited to have Indigenous artists celebrated. It's been a long time coming, and so I really appreciate these moments. Oh, okay. Where am I? I gotta find where I am. Sheesh. I got this. All right. The next award is the 2024 Arts Education Award. This award is for an individual or organization that demonstrates long-standing dedication to arts education in Alaska. The 2024 Arts Education Award goes to Robin Murphy. You can make your way up, Robin. Robin has been an educator for over 30 years, and you look absolutely ravishing. Now I'm totally lost my space on the page. I feel like I'm at the Emmys and I'm really messing up. All right, the Alaska Emmys, right? She became well known with her unique method of dressing up as historical artists, bringing figures like Frida and Vincent van Gogh into life for her students. A graduate of the University of Pittsburgh, Robin began her teaching career in the regular classroom. I don't know that there is such a thing called a regular classroom, but I'm gonna say it because that's what it says. Where she quickly recognized the potential of art as a tool for engagement. She made it her mission and her passion to ensure that every child understood the connection between artistic expression and their own personal journey in learning. She now dedicates her time to community workshop, artist residence, and murals, where she aims to inspire the next generation, or maybe the next 7 generations of artists In her own studio, Robin continues to paint and create, often drawing inspiration from her years in the classroom. Her pieces have been showcased in local galleries, and she remains an active participant in art exhibits, proving that her passion for creativity never truly retires. Beyond her artistic pursuits, Robin is also a mentor to many young teachers and artists, fostering a nurturing environment where creativity thrives in her home studio. She participates in culture camps, community art fairs, as well as collaborates with local schools to ensure that art education remains a priority in her community. Congratulations, Robin.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, cherished students, and honored guests, I stand before you today. I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude and joy. I appreciate the Alaska State Council for the Arts and the Alaska Humanities Forum, as well as the Office of the Governor, for presenting me with this award. I would like to recognize the #1 rated school in Alaska, Eagle Academy Charter, for nominating me, as that is where I ended my teaching career. When I started my college experience at the University of Pittsburgh, I was on a path destined for medicine. Yet deep down, I felt a stirring that I couldn't ignore. My heart yearned for creativity and expression. And so I made a bold choice to pivot from pre-med to art education. My leap of faith was spurred after reading a quote from Leonardo da Vinci that really moved me. He said, "Art is the path to all knowledge." I have never regretted this decision to switch majors, as my goal to become a lifelong learner was better achieved through the career in art education. I can tell you, it was in those art classrooms with my students that I discovered the real joy of creation, but the incredible power of self-expression in my 30 years of teaching have taught me that every brushstroke, every line, every splash of color reflects who we are. And it is in this realization that I want to celebrate today, the realization that each of you possesses a potential to express yourself in your own unique way. To my dear students, you have embraced this journey with open hearts and open minds, and I am in awe of your growth, your creativity, and your passion. You inspire me every day. As an educator, my greatest passion has always been to support not just my students, but my fellow teachers as well. I believe that teaching is a collaborative journey. Together, we nurture a community where creativity flows and everyone can thrive. To all the educators in the room, you guys know who you are. Thank you for all your unwavering dedication, for the ways you uplift your students. You play an essential role in the tapestry of learning. In my retirement, I've looked for opportunities to continue to make connections with students and to grow artistically. Whether it be working with a school to teach art lessons or collaborating as an artist in residence, I feel blessed to be able to spark imagination and show the impact of personal expression while igniting a passion for learning. I encourage each of you to continue to explore, to push boundaries, and to express yourself. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for honoring me with this award. Thank you.
Congratulations, Robin. Yeah, Alaska is unique, right? Because you could have an event and you could show up in Carhartts and Extra Tufts, or you could show up in a gown. And I'm always amazed because my artistic flair is fashion, so I absolutely love noticing things like that. All right, so moving on, our next category is arts advocacy. And because I'm an advocate for climate equity, I actually just love that there's an arts Advocacy category. This award is for an individual or organization that's dedicated to promoting arts through volunteer, administration, legislative, or professional efforts. This year's award and the recipient is for the arts advocacy is Jessica Peña. Jess Peña is an artist, facilitator, and educator from Fairbanks, Alaska. Since 2012, she has worked as the Fairbanks Arts Association, local arts agencies for Interior Alaska, and has served as the executive director since 2016. Her work aims to shift systems toward healthier communities by using the arts as a catalyst, translator, and space for possibility. For over a decade, she has worked to make arts concepts and opportunities more accessible to multi-generations through her role as an adjunct art professor, instructor at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, a youth art course designer, and the director of Fairbanks Arts. Jess creates opportunities for dialogue that deconstruct isolating language around the arts, centralizes information for greater accessibility, and encourages others to share their creative capacities, broadening collective understanding. Jeff serves on the Alaska State Council of the Arts Statewide Education Advisory Committee. She is also a trustee for the Creative West. Additionally, she currently serves on a 13-member advisory committee for the Americans for the Arts, AFTA, 2025 National Convention. That's a lot. Everybody's so busy. In all her roles, her work has been driven by the lens of curiosity and guided by the certainty of the arts access, integration, and engagement are vital to support healthy individuals and healthy communities. Congratulations, Jess. Congratulations.
I wish I would have worn Carhartts. Impactful advocacy often comes from sharing stories. My nature is often to ask questions. For instance, what does it look like for you and for me, for our families, our elders, and our youth to be nourished, valued, and celebrated? What does it look and feel like to be well and connected in this place, in this time? What could it look like, and how can we get there? The space for me to explore these questions has been through the arts. While the ambiguity that exists in the arts makes some people uncomfortable, I find that space to be a powerful translator. Arts advocacy is critical to individual and community health. We deserve the flexibility to make mistakes, learn, process, grow, and change. When we prioritize arts support as a necessity, a right, as a gift and a gathering in our communities, that is what we make space for. Access to the arts creates a strong foundation that supports the learning, physical, and mental health of individuals. Collectively, it creates opportunities to see and hear one another, to be curious and creative. It creates opportunities to grow into acknowledgement, respect, and connection. Also, of course, I have to say it's stellar for the economy. Creativity is a renewable resource we should be investing in. I want to express my deep gratitude for those who have advocated for me to be here tonight. Kayana, to my nominator and dear friend Cordelia Kelly, and to those who wrote support letters. To my family who supports me daily and inspires my work to do what I can to support healthier communities in and through the arts. Thank you to the Alaska State Council in the Arts and the Humanities Forum and the Office of the Governor for supporting this event, and the small and mighty staffs who support the infrastructure for the arts in the state. To those here in philanthropy and decision-making positions who show strategy, leadership, and wisdom in their prioritization of arts support. And finally, to all of you who are here tonight, who share your creativity, your stories, and your hopes, please continue doing that every single day. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jess. Yeah, and thank you all, Juliana, for coming again. This is such a special time to gather together and celebrate. Now it's time to introduce the Outstanding Arts Organization Award. This award is for organizations that have made a notable contribution to the arts and community development in Alaska. The 2024 Outstanding Arts Organization recipient is Alaska Theater of Youth. Yes. And I hope youth, we define youth different in America. In Europe, it's like older people. But to me, youth is that baby in the front row. Since 1984, the Alaska Theater of Youth has guided South Central Alaska youth through the performing arts and fostering a lifelong appreciation for the arts through programming to build artistic and personal skills, including after-school classes, day camps, workshops, and summer conservatory series where students rehearse and perform fully staged productions. That's not an easy task. ATY also produces 3 to 5 professional quality shows per year, providing youth with the intensive opportunities to enhance their skills in a real-world theatrical environment. In addition to skill building, ATY's participants build confidence, resilience, problem-solving skills, and emotional intelligence through the collaboration with peers. Congratulations.
Hello. Oh, can you see me? I'm very short. My name is Christine Cook, and I am just one of the many executive directors who have invested their time into the youth of Alaska and Alaska Theater of Youth. If you look closely, you might see that I have bits of paint all over me and under my fingernails because I've been painting a set for our first production of the season. And this is our 41st season of programming. And our entire staff, I'm the only one here tonight because our entire staff and board and 43 kids are over at the UAA main stage doing a dress rehearsal. Our shows this year are all about fantastic adventures, epic journeys, and treasure. But we know that treasure isn't always gold, as we see every day at ATY. It can be finding what makes us special, understanding what is important in life, or even discovering hidden talents or the power and potential within ourselves. Through theater, young people have the opportunity to uncover what makes them special. The arts create a space where everyone can belong, where diverse voices and experiences come together to work towards a common goal. We are seeing, very excitingly, youth stepping up to lead the company this year. They are volunteering as staff members, counselors, and role models for the younger participants. And we also have created our very first youth advisory board. And as one of our students on the board stated, it is called Alaska Theater of Youth. We are so incredibly honored to be recognized as an outstanding arts organization. It's a reminder of the transformative power of the arts and our commitment to nurturing the next generation of leaders. Together, we will continue to support and uplift the voices of our youth, ensuring that the treasures they find on their journeys are shared with all of us. I cannot tell you how many adults and community members that I meet who have told me that they were a participant of the Alaska Theater of Youth. So I'm just curious, do we have any ATY alumni here? Yes. With with that being said, we invite you all to come and see us in action in our first show this year, Shrek the Musical Junior, which it opens this weekend. And anybody in theater knows that it's Tech Week. And I humbly, humbly beg your forgiveness, but I have to go build a giant dragon after my speech. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard. I'm not a handshaker, I'm a hugger. And so COVID was really hard on me. But yeah, if you don't want to hug me, you don't have to. I automatically go in for the hug. Yeah. Um, all right. So next we have, I got to go back because now I hear Ben over there and I'm nervous because did I forget something? uh, I absolutely am excited that we have youth involved because that to me, I know you got to see the performance. I didn't get to see the performance, but let's just give a big round of applause to the dancers that performed in the lobby when you all were coming in. I'll have to watch the recording because I didn't get to see it, but yeah. All right, so, and it's very great, it's wonderful to see young people engaged in the arts in our state. Now we have a special recognition. I'd like Ben to come up and present. I knew he had to do something.
Thank you, Jackie. And if you're wondering if it's hot up here, it's not as hot as I thought it was going to be during our tech and dress rehearsal. I commented to Jackie, I don't know why I wore a flannel jacket, and she said, I wore bear. So she wins, I think. So exactly, flannel bear, that's hotter. And I don't know if I could get away with the bear, but I may try. So look for us at a future awards ceremony. And to clarify for the record, I played King Polydectes in the Greek in an ATY production in '96, so I was an adult actor. But the beauty of ATY is they actually have adults and youth work together, as Christine was saying. And that's why it's such a wonderful cross-educational opportunity that lifts up the youth and maybe brings some of the adults back down to where they need to be creatively and artistically. So they completely and totally deserve that award, and you should all go and see Shrek. I should have auditioned for Donkey, but anyhow, I digress. Earlier when I was talking, I meant to clarify, we usually give out 5 awards. We give out an individual artist award at the State Council on the Arts every year because there are so many individual artists. And then the other organizational awards or discipline-specific awards, we alternate each year because we used to do 9 a year and that was too much. We don't always give out an award for lifetime achievement in the arts. But when we get the nominations that come in, and we as a committee and then the full board of trustees of the Arts Council look at them, we sometimes decide that there's a deserving individual. And Ronald Spatz is clearly that person this year. He is the editor-in-chief and co-founding editor of Alaska Quarterly Review, which is a nationally and internationally recognized publication, and a former National Endowment for the Arts Fellow. And he's been a professor of English and creative writing at UAA since 1980. He founded UAA's Lit Site Alaska, the UAA Anchorage Daily News statewide creative writing contest, and served as the founding dean of UAA's University Honors College. He has an MFA from the University of Iowa's Writers' Workshop. His contributions have earned multiple accolades, including the UAA Chancellor's Awards, the Edith R. Bullock Prize for Excellence, and the Governor's Arts and Humanities Award prior to this Lifetime Achievement Award. And his work has been widely published and recognized, with Alaska Quarterly Review cited in the Best American Essays, the Best American Short Stories, and many other places. AQR has been praised by the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Library Journal, and Spatz has been featured in major literary publications, remaining a key figure in Alaska's literary and artistic infrastructure, and contributing to work on the state, national, international stage. But I want to share an anecdote that was submitted by, I believe, some friends of his who are here tonight. She had worked with Ron to bring the freshman convocation speaker to Anchorage at UAA, But Ron was the person who got to decide who that speaker was going to be. And he wanted someone who'd make an impact in the who'd made an impact in the field, but he also wanted someone who could connect with the UAA students. And so he knows that a lot of UAA students are the first ones in their families to go to university, to go to college, and their parents are going to be there. And so it's a meaningful thing not just for the students, but their families. And the person who shared this anecdote really praised Ron for picking someone who was a Pulitzer Prize winning writer, who came to UAA in the Wendy Williamson Auditorium and shared his experience as someone who'd gone from humble roots in a factory town, not doing as well as he thought he was going to, having come out of high school, but who made steady progress as he went through college and graduated in a much stronger position than when he got there. And again, this friend of Ron's really was touched by how he'd chosen someone to be the speaker at that ceremony that could really connect with those parents and those students and them as families and what that educational experience had meant to them. So his reputation at AQR, Alaska Quarterly Review, is what had enabled him to know someone who was a Pulitzer Prize winner, to bring that person to Alaska, and to bring it all full circle around. So thank you, Susan Urig, for submitting that anecdote. I really think it was special, and it really lifts up who Ron is. So with that, let's all just give a huge round of applause and welcome Ron Spatz to the stage for his Lifetime Achievement Award for contributing to the arts in Alaska.
Thank you, everyone. When Benjamin Brown actually called me on the phone as chair of the Board of Trustees and of the Alaska State Council of the Arts to notify me of the award, I was more than a little surprised, and especially so because it was for a lifetime of achievement. The summative nature of this recognition is humbling. There's a real sense of finality to it. Enough to give one pause. But my overriding feeling is gratitude. Gratitude to the state of Alaska and to the University of Alaska Anchorage, where I have worked since 1980. I am profoundly grateful for the opportunities afforded me here in Alaska and grateful for the many artistic collaborations and colleagues along the way. Indeed, all of my creative projects have been visioned through an Alaskan lens, strongly influenced by the place and people and cultural traditions without being provincial. When I think of a lifetime of creativity in the literary arts, I think of what the arts and art itself means. For me, creating art is essentially a moral act and an imperative one. The artist is the mirror, the conscience, the provocateur, the translator, the individual demanding attention to the hard questions. I am grateful that Alaska Quarterly Review, AQR, has been a forum to do just that. In the 41 years, AQR has discovered, nurtured, highlighted new and emerging writers, given attention to the non-commercial work of established writers, and served as a bridge between Alaska and the national and international literary community and the larger literary conversation. Although it has never been easy, I am proud that I have not compromised this vision and that AQR has contributed meaningfully to the scaffolding of the literature of Alaska and of our nation. So it is with gratitude for what has been accomplished that I look forward to the future with a full heart. My 81st book-length edition of AQR is in production and will be out in March. I like Shakespeare's Henry V, what he had to say. Once more into the breach, dear friends, once more. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yeah, you want a hug? No? He's running away. Someone said mistress of ceremonies, and I was like, what? That doesn't sound too good to me. All right, I gotta keep us back on track. So we have a special treat. I gotta find my right page here, because now I was just so excited that he didn't want a hug. I don't think I've ever had a man run away from me. Okay. So that concludes our Arts Awards and section this evening. And so we're going to move on, though, because we have much more to treat you with. So we're going to enjoy some beautiful music from the group Pipeline Vocal Project. And while they set up, I'm going to just read their bio. These wonderful young ladies are bringing you a treat. We have Lisa Hawkins, Molly Dinahay, and Taylor Seaberg. Their group, Pipeline Vocal Project, is an award-winning vocal trio from Alaska comprised of lead bass and vocal percussions. I think tonight you're a cappella, yeah? Yeah, exciting. All right. Did you need more time? Are you good? Oh, okay. You're ready. All right, you're ready. So let's just, being only one of the only groups of this kind in the world, they have traveled across the U.S. and North America, as well as various international music festivals, and have been ambassadors, musical ambassadors for the Department of State. Yeah, these ladies have been performing across the globe, and let's give a big round of applause for PVP.
Deep down Louisiana, close to New Orleans, way back on the woods among the evergreens, there stood a log cabin made of earth and wood. Here lived a country boy named Johnny B. Good, who never ever learned to read or write so well. He could play the guitar just like he's ringing a bell. Go, 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 Johnny, go, go, sing with us. Go, Johnny, go, 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 Johnny, go, go, one more. Go, Johnny, go, go. Johnny be good. Wouldn't do a party in a county jail. The principal was there and they began to wail. The band was jumping and the drum began to swing. You should have heard us knock down jailbirds sing. Let's rock, everybody, let's rock. Everybody in the whole cell block, keep dancing to the jailhouse rock. How y'all feeling so far? Every time it rains, panties on the head. Show beat, do beat. Don't you know each cloud contains things from the heavens? Shoopy-doopy, you'll find your fortune falling all of it down. Just be sure those umbrellas stay up, upside down. And I want everybody here to clap.
Hello, everyone. So before we move on, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our members. On our base, we have Miss Molly Deaney. On lead vocal and some vocal percussion, we have Miss Taylor Sievers. My name is Lisa Hopkins. I am the group's vocal percussionist. Thank you. We are so happy to be here. We're super excited. And you may have noticed already, but we are singing a 1950s medley. And of course, we cannot complete a 50s medley without this particular classic. And we need your help. I think you'll know what to do. Here we go.
Good job. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. You've been crying all the time. I said you've another kind of rabbit, and you ain't no friend of mine.
It wasn't until half the song that I noticed we had guests with us on stage. I was like,
They participated. They yelled tequila. They're good. They're good. They passed the test.
pass the vibe check. All right, well, once again, we're super excited and honored to be at the Governor's Awards here tonight. We're going to sing one more song for you all, if that's okay. We, of course, as you can tell, are all women, and it is very important to us that we sing songs by other female artists. So this is what we like to call the Divas Medley.
Hey, sister, go, sister, soul, sister, flow, sister. Hey, sister, go, sister, soul, sister, flow. What you want, baby, I got it. Ooh. What you need, you know I got it. Ooh. All I'm asking is Father's Day. Just a little bit, baby, just a little bit. Oh, just a little bit, hey, baby, just a little bit. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, take hands to me. Take it to me, 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 just take it to me. Just a little bit, hey, baby, just a little bit. I'm every woman, it's all in me. How can you not right now? Everything from A to Z. Whoa, 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 da 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 da. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, I thought I knew you, getting that you were true. 'Cause I couldn't trust, but you must tell me something, 'cause I've had enough. Oh, 'cause if it wasn't for all that you're trying to do, I wouldn't know how can my boy trouble through. So I wanna say thank you, 'cause makes me that much stronger, makes me work a little bit harder, makes me that much wiser. Thanks for making me fighter, made me learn a little bit faster, made my skin a little bit thicker, makes me that much smarter. Thanks for making me fighter. And we're rolling, 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 rolling on the river. 2, 3, 4. mistakes, and I never lost 1 minute of sleep. For another way things might have been. Big wheel keep on turning, strawberry keep on burning. Rolling, 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 rolling on the river. So we're rolling, 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 rolling on the river. Oh, dance with somebody. I wanna be alive with somebody. Oh yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me, somebody who loves somebody who loves me, somebody who to hold me in his arms. Oh, I need a man to take a chance on a love that burns hot enough to last when the night falls. My only heart goes. Oh, don't you wanna dance, say you wanna dance, don't you wanna dance? Come on, don't you wanna dance, say you wanna dance, don't you wanna dance? Don't you wanna dance, say you wanna dance? I'm better with somebody who loves me. Oh, I wanna dance with somebody.
How about one more round of applause for Anybody else want to get up and dance? Yeah. Okay. So, welcome back, everyone. Did you go anywhere? In your mind? You know, art does that. Music does that. Doesn't it take you places? I bet some of you were singing along thinking, I know exactly where I was when I first heard this song. So we are now to a very special moment. It's that word that I couldn't pronounce earlier, but it's a very special moment. So we have, right now, we are going to honor our state writer laureates. The Alaska State Writer Laureate Program is a partnership between the Alaska State Council on the Arts and the Alaska Humanities Forum. This honorary appointment recognizes the contributions of an Alaskan writer to the quality of life in Alaska and includes funds to support a unique project of their choosing for a 2-year term. Our current state laureate is Heather Lendy. I have to pause because I've never met Heather, but I've read a lot of her stuff. So I'm really excited. So Heather's essays and stories, mostly about life and sometimes death in Haines, Alaska, have been distributed widely, from the Anchorage Daily News to the Christian Science Monitor to NPR to Country Living. And I will tell you, like, I remember during COVID just looking for things to read. And you know how you go down a rabbit hole with an author? She was one of mine. So I'm really excited to finally meet her. So she's also a former contributing editor at Women's Day magazine, and for over 40 years wrote over 400 obituaries for the Chilkat Valley News in Haines, Alaska. She is the author of the best-selling memoirs from Algonquin Books, another word I had trouble with, Find the Good, If You Lived Here, I'd Know Your Name, Take Good Care of the Garden and the Dogs, and most recently, of Bears and Ballots in 2020. She has received the Alaska Governor's Award for Distinguished Service to the Humanities, the Episcopal Bishop of Alaska's Bishop's Choice Award, and the Middlebury College Alumni Award. Heather was born and raised in New York. She and her husband, Chip, have lived in Haines for about 40 years. where they own a lumber yard and a hardware store. They have 5 children and 9 grandchildren. I have 6 children and 9 grandchildren, so I know that feeling. And so we want to thank you, Heather, for all your service and for your amazing writing and your service as the state Writer Laureate. So thank you, Heather. And I hope she lets me hug her.
Geez, my head is swelling. That's quite an introduction, and it was really nice to meet Jackie. And it's truly been an honor to be the Alaska Writer Laureate. It's been humbling. I also got a call from Ben Brown, and I thought he was kidding when he called and asked me. I said, surely there's somebody else that could do this. He said, no, you'd be good. And then I ended up being the COVID laureate, which actually, it actually suited me, though, because those of you that know me know that I like to be home. I'm kind of a nervous traveler in general, and I do better kind of one-on-one than in a big group, or at least I'm more comfortable that way. And what happened during COVID was that I didn't give talks like this with lights and microphones and in front of a bunch of people. I was sitting in my own chair at home with my dog there and my own cup of coffee, and I was Zooming all over the place. And we all know that has its real drawbacks in human contact. But it also, I think, had some benefits, especially for the Writer Laureate program, because there's a lot of people that can't come tonight, that can't, their car doesn't even run in the snow, they've got to go to work tomorrow, they've got kids at home, they've got people they're taking care of, they have babies. And I ended up Zooming with them and had a lot of relatively intimate conversations, because even though there was the big screen there and there'd be maybe people at a library, but there'd also be someone at home. There were people cooking, there were people folding laundry, and they would talk to me like I was right there, because I was not in front of a big group, and ask me questions. And one of the things that came out of my time with Laureate was there's a lot of pain in Alaska. There's a lot of trauma of all kinds. There's historical trauma in the Native community, but there's just a lot of hurt. With different groups of people that have been marginalized, and they talked to me, and I learned about that, and I also tried to help a little, because I think when you write things down, it makes you feel better, whether it's a journal just to get it off your chest, whether it's a list of things that, a to-do list or a gratitude list, it helps, or even just writing a note to someone, some kind of reconciliation or forgiveness, or even to, I just want to tell you that I appreciate you. That, to me, was the power of writing, and what happened to me as I went across the state. The other thing that happened was people would say to me, well, where did you learn how to write? When did you learn how to write? And I started thinking about that, and I realized I learned how to write the same place all of you did. I learned how to write in first grade from Mrs. O'Toole, with the dotted line, and you did the lowercase and the uppercase, and you learned that you started a sentence with a capital and you ended it with a period, and it was a thought. It was your thoughts. It wasn't even the words itself, or in kind of response to ʼunei, it wasn't even the language that you were doing it in. It was the fact that you were expressing your thoughts. And I was encouraged when I was in school, and we all begin that way. And I was also thinking a little bit about the discussion earlier about advocating for the arts and the humanities, and we all talk about it, and like, what can we do? And we can come to things like this, we can talk to our friends. I was at one of these events a few years ago where we were told, buy Alaskan art. That's how you do it. You support the arts with money. But I think the more I look at our sometimes divisive, contentious society that's happening. We got this big election coming up, and either way, there's still going to be half of the people are going to be very upset and angry. And the place where we meet, and the place where we learn, and the place where art and culture begins, whether it's your first play, whether it's your first sentence, whether it's playing music, learning how to sing a song. That happens in school. And in Alaska, what builds communities are the public schools. And I think if we're going to advocate for the arts and the humanities, a place really to put a lot of effort right now that are struggling is in our K through all the way through the university. I think it's really important. And I think it's important. And it's important for all of us. And I want to just, I'm going to leave you 2 stories because that's what I do. And I might be talking too long, but I haven't had a chance to be up here. And things, I had a little script, but I'm going off it. And there's one story I want to tell you, is that when I was on the school board in Haines, there was a big push for vocational education. Like we all know, that's important. People felt that you should be able to graduate from high school with a job and a skill. And I was on the committee that was in charge of, getting community members that would support this. So I went to Haines' major industrialist, John Schnabel, who for years ran the Schnabel Lumber Company, the sawmill, and actually in his later years was known as Grandpa John on Gold Rush, Alaska, the Discovery Channel's show about sort of fake miners. But anyway, and I don't mean, you know what I mean. There are some really mining, but it's a scripted thing. It's a creative effort. And at any rate, I went to John and I said, John, would you be on this committee? Would you help us? And if, could you even chair it? And he said, no. And I said, why not? And he said, because I grew up in a rabbit hutch in the Dust Bowl and canvas. I ended up in logging camps in the Pacific Northwest. I got to Alaska when I was 16. And he said, I went to public schools and I learned Shakespeare and how to play the violin. If anybody wants to learn how to run a front end loader, I can teach them. But you should learn things in school that you might not ever learn anywhere else. So that's how he wanted us to spend our resources. So that was from John. The other thing I want to tell you in answer, at least partially, to the challenge of ʼunei, is that in Haines, or Deishu, is what it's called, we began having Elizabeth Perodovich Day celebrations, as you have maybe in much of the state. And the first one was 4 or 5 years ago. And basically, it was seen as an elder from Cluckwan came to the school. Marilyn Wilson in her blue and white A&S uniform came in. There was a few words said, and we heard a little bio of Elizabeth Perodovich, talked about her courage and her kindness, and then everybody went back to class. 5 minutes, something that happened. Over time, that's changed. And it's changed because we've changed, but also because of the persistence and the hope and the love and the encouragement of these stories and how important they are within our school and our community in Haines. And by last year, the celebration is now community-wide, the whole town's invited, and it lasts much longer than 5 minutes. It might go an hour or 2 or 3 sometimes. And the little children in the Haines School make all their own regalia with buttons and felt, native students and non-native alike. Learn the songs, sing the songs, do the dances. The high school boys, the basketball players, are leading a dance troupe, showing everybody else how to do it. It became a celebration, and that's what's possible in schools and in communities, and it gives me hope. That's another reason why I want us to continue to advocate for our school system. And now I feel like these events should have some, blessing, benediction. I'm not a poet, but I also felt strongly that my time as a Writer Laureate that I should be highlighting other Alaskan writers that do it a lot better than I do in many cases. And one of them is Christy Nami Erickson, who lives in Juneau. And she wrote this poem that I like to share when I go places or even just talk on Zoom. And I wanted to share it with all of us tonight because I just think it's terrific. It's called Alaskans. We are fish people, wood people, the people's people. We are speak up, speak over the river people. steady ship, meandering beach, mountain peak people. We have to see for ourselves kind of people. We are fixer, upper, doer, or do it or it doesn't get done people. We sing at church, we kiss our wives, we carve with our doors open. We wear suits, we wear boots. We are spring clean Saturday people. We are strange, but we are no strangers. Happy Naluktuk, bingo, amen. We share our wins, we celebrate tree shakers, promise makers. We are believers. At any moment, we are the grandparents and grandchildren of greatness, genius, and luck, noble and gathered wild miracles. We are wayfinding people. Trace the edge of your mother and it will lead you to a coast. Who could truly tell where you or I begin or where any of our legends end? Here, north is not a direction, it's a bond, and we turn towards each other. So, Āunei Tsiits, thank you. I just want to remind you all too that art it's not a competition. As the art community and the humanities community and the writing community, we need to lift each other up. We need to support each other and share what we know, cheer on everybody's efforts, lift them up when they fall, and tell them to keep on going, to have courage, to be kind, to be brave, and to be thankful. And now it is, I think the best thing I have done as a Writer Laureate, if it counts as me actually doing it, is following Ernestine Hayes and being able to welcome Vera Starbard as our next Writer Laureate. You've read Vera's bio, you can read that. But what I want to tell you is that Vera is a professional playwright, a screenwriter, a magazine editor. She writes for the PBS children's program, Molly of Denali. It's won Peabody's, nominated for Children's and Family Emmys, and she also was a writer on ABC's Alaska Daily, which focused, if you've seen it, on the missing and murdered Indigenous women. And she has won numerous local, statewide, national, individual awards and editing awards, including a Rasmussen Individual Artist Award, an Alaska Literary Award, the Governor's Arts and Humanities Award, a First Alaskans Institute Young Native Leader Award, and her stage plays include Our Voices Will Be Heard, which is the story of a mother who was sexually abused by another relative and how the family copes. It was also published as a textbook in contemporary plays by women of color, and it was adapted as a 1-hour radio play that's streamed nationally, and it has changed people's lives. It's a really important piece of work, and it speaks to Vera's just huge range that you can write for a children's cartoon, and you can write for some really serious adult topics. She also has a sense of humor. She's written a Tlingit version of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I can't say enough about what it means to me as an Alaskan, and I think what it means to the arts community to have a Writer Laureate with Vera's background and skills, and who's taken us in a new direction in terms of theater and film and the ways in which we can communicate, and is doing it in 2 languages, and from her own very unique perspective. So please join me in welcoming Vera Starbard as the next Alaska State Writer Laureate. Congratulations.
Āunei Tsiits.
Katzke chat duasak, Clinady Katzke, Dr. Tanyadi. I wrote down more, but ʼunei is sitting right in front of me. He's not judgmental at all, but I can hear him like, go up with the tone. We'll work on that. So we'll stop there. Gonna teach to you all, gonna teach to the Alaska State Council on Arts, the Humanities Forum, to Ben for asking if I was still there when he told me about this. To my family, who are the most supportive family ever. My grandma has called 3 times and I have not picked up because she thinks it's over right now. To my husband. Thank you to Heather for your service. She's back here. To the other laureates for the handoff. I was actually kind of picturing like a literal handoff, like some kind of pledge of service, and like I raised my right hand and like put my hand on like a Jack London book or something. Just think about it, Ben.
If I had a thing, I'd give it to you, but I don't. You want my glasses?
We'll work on that for 2 years from now. And tonight, I want to confess something. I have been stealing from you all my entire career. And to explain that, this is why this speech took a long time to write. There's no way to do this without it being like a simultaneous humble brag and vague book at the same time. I'm gonna power through, go with it, think what you're gonna think. But I really want you to know this. In the past couple years, I've been in a lot of meetings with executives from a lot of really huge corporations you'll know, networks you'll know, Netflix, ABC, Disney, Scholastic Publishing. And every single one of those meetings, they want to know about you. That's what fascinates them. That's what I end up talking about. That's the story, the little tidbit. That's what sells these stories to them, is literally the things that you think of as daily commonplace, they think is weird. They think is exciting. They think is touching. And they just want to know more about what we do up here, for real. Not in the way we're kind of all used to, seeing ourselves in media. They want to know about our interesting law enforcement system. They want to know how much the groceries cost. When I tell them, literally almost every single one in the meeting, I tell them, I've been stuck in the snow so many times. I now expect that there will be multiple people, strangers, who will stop and help me. That's unusual in most other places, and that fascinates them. Our warmth fascinates them. And our warmth is not usually what they hear about. They hear about the cold. They're fascinated with matrilineal society. They're fascinated with ocean dipping. They're fascinated at the idea that we're consistently practicing ancient culture in a modern way. And that's what I've done on every single job I've had. On Molly Denali, I write episodes about Alaskan teachers that I love, Mrs. Scribner. Childhood friends who spoke Tagalog, and I actually thought Filipino was just also Alaska Native. You should watch that episode, it's really funny. They're really cool too, so. Trading Facebook posts with people who are chasing down the Northern Lights. On Alaska Daily, I wrote about the MMIW advocates I admire. Alaskan political discussion. People from the valley who grow giant vegetables. They are fascinated with that. There's an entire episode that got away from us because they were so fascinated with that. And in these rooms or meetings, when we need an interesting hook, some little detail that will interest an audience or a reader, I get so much credit. When I just tell them something I've seen you do, or read about, or experienced with the wonderful colleagues, I'm gonna get choked up, so many people I've worked with in this room. When I tell them about that, I get credit for being so brilliant by just telling them what you do every day. I see much of my job now as translator, and taking this state and this land and these people that I love so much and figuring out how to turn that into bite-sized pieces for an outside world that can learn from us. Your stories are not only valid, they are needed. If Wikipedia is to be believed, I think I'm the first millennial Writer Laureate for the state. I bring that up primarily to point out how young I am. Maybe too young for this. But also to bring up that my whole life I've been so excited that we're living in a Gutenberg times, that the access and democratization of information and communication is incredibly exciting to me. I typed some of my early stories in first grade on a Macintosh 128K. Right? In high school, our cell phones were still doing the text thing where you need to do 3 clicks to get to the end. And now, I can purchase and download a book right up here while I'm talking to you. I might purchase some of your books tonight. I can research things from anywhere, and I can send things anywhere. I can be in a writing room in LA from my house in Juneau. And what can we do if we combine all that with your stories, the inspiration I get from you, and the capacity we've been building together? It's exciting. I'm excited. I'm excited for this role. I'm glad that this honor has an expectation of service, of doing projects that serve the state, because you've been serving me and my writing my whole life. And so, to the people of Alaska, Chinan, for talking to me and teaching me and inspiring me for decades. Koyana for supporting me, even when I pulled my punches, even when I couldn't do as much as I wanted to do. ʼunei for sharing your stories with me. Thank you for trusting me with them. I promise you I've done everything I can to take care of your stories, like the precious, precious, precious treasures they are. And I promise that's exactly what I'll keep doing. ʼunei.
This is for Heather. You'll get one in 2 years.
Okay. Is that mine? No? Okay. How about one more round of applause for those wonderful women? Woo. Absolutely inspiring. Thank you, Heather, and for your service, and congratulations, and Gonashish, Vera. So exciting. Now we're going to begin our Distinguished Service to the Humanities Awards, which are received through the Alaska Humanities Forum. Our first category is a Distinguished Service to the Humanities and Community. This award recognizes an Alaskan individual or organization that has helped strengthen community by forging connections between people across race, class, and cultural divides. Our 2024 Humanities Community Award goes to Alma Manabat Parker. Alma, in her 42 years of living in Katzke, has preserved and promoted Filipino culture and heritage and advanced the health and well-being of Filipino community members across Southeast Alaska, weaving together arts, culture, heritage in a way that benefits total wellness. In addition to her work as a sama-sama, I'm going to say this wrong, but I'm going to try, Tayo Sa Kugusagan, program coordinator, and the Katzke program director. She is also known for her passion for teaching Filipino dance. And she insists that dance is a pathway to reinvigorate culture, pride, and strengthening the Filipino community, as well as connecting others to culture of her birthplace. So congratulations, Alma.
Good evening. Magandang gabi sa iyo lahat. Mabuhay and maraming salamat. Following Vera and Miss Heather, I'm just like, oh my gosh, how am I going to speak? Oh my gosh. But Vera did mention something about Filipinos and Alaska Native brothers and sisters. I was like, yes, this works. It's a perfect lead-in. And there's 2 more days left of Filipino American History Month, which is celebrated in every October. And so it's fitting. Service to community, I was thinking, like, what does that mean to me? And my community, of course, is my family and friends who are here today celebrating with me. And then my Katzke Southeast community, especially the Filipinos that I work with there. And then our Alaska Filipino community, Mana Alaska's here cheering me on. And then, of course, and of course, my Filipino connection. And going back to the Philippines earlier in April, this picture that was taken that I used as my bio is my aunt. And she's one of 14 of my dad's siblings. And she's the only one that was not able to immigrate to Alaska. And I took this picture and I presented it at an exhibit earlier this month. And I told myself, she's finally in America. So here you are, Auntie Norma. And I really love that I weave in culture into our public school system. As Ms. Heather was saying earlier, that is our first place of learning. And this whole month we've been going to doing cultural enrichment classes and going to every school in our school district for spending 30 to 40 minutes per grade. And it was really empowering to hear voices of those little ones who are of Filipino descent that are like, I'm like Miss Alma, did you know I'm Filipino too? And then they would be a little bit prouder in their classroom. You could see, and teachers would tell me, they're raising their hands more. They feel seen and they feel heard. So that 30 minutes that I just spent with them empowered them to just feel seen and heard. So that's the work that we continue to do in Katzke with the Sama-Sama Tayo sa Kalisugan project, which means healthier together. So we are doing this together, and I'm using culture as our way to be our medicine. It is our food to nourish. It is our medicine to heal. Culture is our story to uplift and share. It is also our spirit to live on. So the work we're doing is very valuable, and I'm so proud to represent that in the Filipino community, not just in Katzke, but Alaska as a whole. So thank you for this opportunity to be up here. And I think I met my 1.5 minute limit, and I'm good to go. Thank you. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat.
Congratulations. Well, I didn't do too bad. All right. Whew. So how's everyone doing? Good? Yeah, some amazing people here tonight. So we are now doing our distinguished service to the humanities. Oops, am I on the right page here? Hold on a second. Mama Mike Shore. Yes, I am. All right, it's a little bit hard when you have a script. You know, there's so many details we want to share with you, so we try to put them into condensed little paragraphs, but it's really hard when you're reading a script. I could talk all day, but to read and then to pause and to think, that's a little bit much. I don't know if I like this gig. All right, so here we have the Distinguished Service to the Humanities and Education. This award recognizes an Alaska individual or organization that has helped strengthen communities by contributing to a better understanding of the world, one another, and the human experience. Our 2024 Humanities Education Award goes to Sea Stories. Yeah. Sea Stories is a mission to build inclusive communities with film and story. Alaska stories tend to be told through a very colonial lens, which sidelines the perspectives of indigenous communities and recent immigrants. And Sea Stories works to ensure that diverse Alaskans and youth are given the media skills to craft stories with better representation of the Alaska they truly know. Over the past decade, Sea Stories has engaged with more than 600 students across 21 Alaskan communities and trained 129 educators indirectly, reaching over 6,450 people and students. So right now, we are going to share one of their short films with you. All right.
Manak is important to people because it provides food. People also love to get out to enjoy the fresh air and the sport of fishing. People like to experience the peacefulness of the wilderness. Manaking is fun. When you catch a fish, it pulls the line and we get scared and happy. When a person has their first catch, they give the fish to an elder or have a feast to celebrate. My family manaks for salmon and whitefish in the summer. In the fall and winter, we manak for lush and pike. In the winter, you have to make a hole in the ice with an ice pick hand or use an auger. We like to dry the pike in the spring and eat it with seal oil.
It's important for food. It's fun, fresh air, and no sounds. Very peaceful. It feels cool and it's exciting to catch.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. I was telling Alma earlier with so much confidence that I never cry on stage, and now I'm like, oh, I'm going to eat those words. Did anyone see the lovely young men as you entered this theater, Chabo and Kamiko? Could you guys stand up? Just so handsome and amazing. These are my 2 oldest sons, so humble brag. I also want to do a shout out to someone who nominated 2 of the awardees tonight. He's Rafael Batenga. Where are you, Rafael? Can you stand up? Oh, there he is in the back. Of course, he's taking footage right now. He's just quietly there all the time doing amazing work. Thank you, Rafael, for being you. So my grandpa raised me on a story. And the story was when he was 24, his father passed away unexpectedly. And the man who had commissioned his father to build him a house went to my grampy and said, "Will you build the house that your late father was supposed to build?" And my grandpa had never built a house, and he didn't know how to build a house. And he looked the man in the eye and he said, "Yes, I can do it." And inside he was scared and nervous and unsure. But he built the house, and when I would go visit him in Wausau, Nebraska, he would drive me by the house, and it was still there, and a family lived in it, and it was strong and stable. And anyways, so it was with that spirit that I've worked on sea stories for 14 years now, and I had a vision, but I didn't know how, and I was scared so many times, and I still get scared. How is it going to happen? But what I do know is it can't happen without community and without all of us. And I'm thinking of my teachers, and I'm thinking of my kids, and I'm thinking of my family, my friends, staff, board. You know who you are. Hi. And all of us together are working to inspire the next generation with the power, and let's just say the next 7 generations, with the power of their own story. And that's what I want for all of you here present tonight, the power of your own story, which is ever evolving, and it's yours, and you're discovering it. And yeah, that's it. So I'm just grateful, I'm excited, I'm humbled. I also just have to say, Southeast represent. Yeah, Southeast is showing out tonight. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful.
Congratulations. I just keep hearing some little threads all night, but boy, that ties it up when you see kids, you hear their voices, and they're interacting with the salmon and the water and the elders. It's just something magic happens there. So thank you, Marie. Totally appreciate you and all your hard work. Now it's time for our final award of the evening. And this is the Distinguished Service to the Humanities and Leadership Award. This award recognizes an Alaskan individual or organization that has helped strengthen communities through their commitment to improve Alaska's social, economic, and civic life. I am excited, very excited, tonight to announce our 2024 recipient of the Humanities Leadership Award to the one and lonely. Her mom said say AKA, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna really say this right. Láaganaay Tsiits Git'anee. Woo! You can wait. I'll do your big, long 3-page bio first, and then, yeah. If you live in our world, we all know who she is. I think we all know who she is. And she's both Haida and Tlingit from Katzke, the mouth of the Dawn people. Her home is always and always will be Cake. I actually got to go there once. So as a responsibility in her life and work, Láaganaay has focused on enacting and living her commitment and deep love of Alaska and Alaska's indigenous peoples, and all that we are and everything about Alaska. It really is truly remarkable, the work that she's been able to accomplish in a very short amount of time, because she's younger than me. You know, it really is. The well-being of Alaska Natives requires addressing some of the hardest issues. We heard that tonight. It's a thread that kind of art and beauty has these threads of trauma and despair, and we have to bind them together and create this beautiful tapestry that we currently live in. But society to transform an unjust and inequitable systems and institutions and social constructs, this lady right here does all that. Her work is to amplify the brilliant future of Alaska Natives, uplifting intergenerational healing and growth. I've been a participant of that, and it truly is transformative, while also addressing critical issues and advocating for well-being of Alaska Natives, and most recently was demonstrated during her 16-year tenure at First Alaskans Institute, but was instilled in her by her ancestors and elders, and that just radiates in the spirit of Láaganaay. She has centered indigenizing, hosting, engagement, mentoring, training others in pursuing their aspirations, hosting and facilitating very difficult discussions and dialogues, and shifting some of the dialogue so that they actually impact in a different way and produce more meaningful outcomes. She has served and continues to serve in a volunteer capacity on many boards across the state of Alaska. She is a tribal citizen of the organized village of Cake. She is represented by the Council of the Haida Nation, as well as the Central Council of the Tlingit and Haida tribes of Alaska. She's a shareholder of the Cake Tribal Corporation and Sea Alaska Corporation. She is a lifelong member of the Alaska Native Sisterhood, Camp Number 10, and Kiiksquan Dancers. She is also a puller and organizer of the Kiiksquan, our Cake Canoe family. Currently, she is focused on learning both her Tlingit and Katzke language, spending time with family and friends, and helping community and organizations with projects to support their critical work, including teaching 2 UAF upper division classes. She is also co-owner of a new kelp farm. Love connections in Alaska, sister. Now I got lost because I'm thinking of kelp salsa. Anybody try that kelp salsa? Woo, it's so good. All right, this is an effort she has with her sisters Dawn and Mona. Along with 4 other co-founders, she has been busy creating a new effort to support the thriving of our native peoples called Ginga Ignin Collective. Láaganaay, congratulations, sister. So proud to know you.
Láaganaay Tsiits Git'anee. Hadalat good people. Nun Kwaiga Git'anee Sinudi Nan Kiagan. Nun Kwaiga Git'anee was my grandmother, Mona Jackson. She was from Haida Gwaii. Auklagi, also known as Masset. Ganahake Hinudi Chan Kiagan. Ganahake was my grandfather, Tommy Jackson Sr. Hatlangadas, he was Tlingit. And because of him, I am also the grandchild of his clan, the Sagwedi. Stathkawas Sinudi Aukiang. Stathkawas is my mother, Delachini. She's a teacher and a weaver, and she's here tonight. Bill Cheney Hinidi Had Dikiagan. Bill Cheney was my father. We lost him at the end of 2021. He made his home in our community of Cake. And as horrible as COVID was, I had 2 years with my father I never would have had. And I'm super grateful that I had that time with him. Láaganaay Tsiits Git'anee. Láaganaay is my Haida name. And as of September 14th, it is also my legal name. And in deciding to change my name, I asked my Haida women in my family and in my clan, I said, prior to contact, we didn't need last names because we were in our clan. So as I'm changing my name legally, what should my last name now be? And guess what they said? Your clan. So when you say my last name, you're not saying the name of one individual family line. You are saying the name of thousands of generations of Haida people, of the Tsiits Git'anee. Our crest is the hummingbird. We come from Auklagi in Haida Gwaii, British Columbia. And it just blew me away when I came to that realization after the fact, of course, as it is when you do something significant and you don't really know the impact that it will have on your life, that when people say my last name now, the name of my clan will be coming from all of these strangers' lips. And I think that that is so precious. And I hope, like so many others who led the way before in changing their names to their legal names, to their native names, like my sister Ayu, who is here, that it just encourages more of our people to reclaim the truth of who we really are. One of the things that I didn't tell the Alaska Humanities Forum folks who were so kind to reach out and offer me this award is that through years of advocacy, Alaska Native people have made it so that the time that we have on the clock to advocate doesn't include our introductions. There are so many people to thank, mostly the people who decided to spend time to put my name forward. They really are the people who are doing incredibly hard work, and I hope that this is a reflection to them of how incredibly powerful and beautiful they are for being brave enough to have the hard conversations and do the hard work no matter what their field. And something I was thinking about tonight as I was listening to the others speak. My sister Gail, who's also here with us tonight, my oldest sister Gail, she's a graduate of Antioch University, and I got a t-shirt from her, you know, because that's what you do. T-shirts are a love language here in Alaska. And it had this quote on it by the first president of her university, Horace Mann. And it said, "Be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity." And I used that t-shirt with so much love because it said something out loud that I had been raised with. And that is that we have a responsibility to one another that surpasses minor divisions in our humanity. We have a responsibility to these places that we decide to call home, or that we have the privilege of being born to as Indigenous peoples. We have a responsibility together as Alaskans to cherish this place. And the way that you cherish something is not on its surface, not shining it up and putting a new pair of extra tufts on it, although that's a good thing to do. But it's really getting to the heart of the matter and having the conversations that shape and transform lives, that connect our hearts and minds. These are not comfortable conversations. They're the hardest ones to have. In the work that I got to do with my colleagues here from First Alaskans Institute and some of our prior award winners here, and others in the audience, those conversations are the ones we all run from. Nobody wants to have conversations about racism, and certainly we don't do it well when we do. But if it hadn't been for the bravery of all the people that helped to nurture me, helped to grow me, helped to pull me up, helped to scold me when that was necessary, and it's necessary a lot, and for the people who I got to do the work with, who put their hearts, their lives, their families on the line, because Alaska's worth it. And when I was thinking about this award and what it means, I was thinking about all those people who took the courage to sit in a room in a circle and face each other and try to open themselves up enough to understand that if you're going to call Alaska home, if you're going to love this place, it requires that you love her native people. It requires that you love the other people who come here who may not share your beliefs or your religion, who may not share your aspirations and dreams for your children, but know that they have their own. It requires that you actually embrace one another in ways that we have yet to tap in this state. We are just at the beginning. And because of that, I want to thank every single person who took time to come tonight, specifically to the staff of the organizations who put this event on tonight, because it's a night away from your families and your friends. And those are the things that we hold most precious. And I want to leave you folks with a quote from one of my sisters, Valerie Davidson. She reminded us in one of our dialogues we were hosting, and I want to share it with you folks here so you could take it home and share it with your loved ones as well, which is, don't save the worst of yourself for the people you love the best. Don't save the worst of yourself for the people you love the best. Let that be the paddle that we steer together with, because that's what Alaska deserves, and that's what each and every one of us deserves. The other thing that I want to express is how grateful I am that this award is not a year of service. 2 years of service. So on behalf of my family, my community of Cake, on behalf of the Tsiits Git'anee, I just humbly say, Jahaua Atlinganas Chish. Thank you.
Gwanashish, gwanashish, gwanashish. Or I could say, Ariga, Kayana, Kayana, Kayana. What a night. And thank you for bearing with me, Al. I want to say thank you one more time to Láaganaay. And really, you know, I said that to your mom when she said AKA. I was like, one day we'll just go by our name. So one more round of applause. Just, yeah. Heartfelt, heartfelt, heartfelt. Now we're coming to a close, and I'd like to take a moment to just reflect on our evening together. I would say that's one of my gifts, is to listen and then pull threads. there were many threads that wove tonight together, and I know that it's usually that's not how these come together. The awardees happen to be people who are recognized and nominated, but when the universe conspires and there's all these threads of connection, and you hear the repeated processes, it's very healing for me. So, you know, we have a lot of trauma in our state, but we have these diverse, beautiful cultures that just are woven together even through that trauma. And now we have these other threads of fabric of people who love our state and connect and become part of the tapestry. And that is truly the beauty of these awards. So, take a deep breath. Take those words home. Feel the energy. Feel the inspiration and the hope. Really think about digesting the words you heard tonight and how it made you feel. There was a lot of laughter, and laughter is our first medicine. Grandma Rita would say, nope, it's our second. Water is our first medicine. So even now, my elders echo in my head. And it really is about making sure the youth, and as they rise up and become our ancestors, are able to tell their stories, are able to be creative and inspired, are able to have their names as their legal names, and really pull together and gather and celebrate each other in this tapestry of love. And thank you for all for coming out on this crazy weather night. Please travel very safely, drive slow, keep your headlights on, honk at people if you need to. That's okay. And Kiyanakpak for a wonderful night. Before you actually all run out the door, very slowly, I hope, I would like to bring the awardees up on stage, and Lieutenant Governor, as well as the Alaska State Council of the Arts and Alaska Humanities Forum staff, to join everyone up here on stage for a final photograph. So to the rest of you, Kiyanakpak, drive safe and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for watching the 2024 Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards. Thank you for watching the 2024 Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards. Thank you for watching the 2024 Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards. Thank you for watching the 2024 Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards. Thank you for watching the 2024 Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards. Thank you for watching the 2024 Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards. Thank you for watching the 2024 Governor's Arts and Humanities Awards.